Good afternoon. Something that came to me today, and it's the importance of being obedient in everything that we do. If you ever feel convicted to do something, you need to snap at it and do it right then and there. Even if we don't feel like that's not important or that's so mundane, like that's not important. All the little things that we do for God, they mean a big difference. I'll tell you a story about how I was obedient and God really blessed me and blessed other people. When you allow God to use you, that is more rewarding for you than anything that anybody can do for you. Just blessing other people, just being a servant to God, like that is how you really get blessed internally, if that makes sense. But so I stepped out of my comfort zone. Someone told me, they prophesized over me, and they said that Jesus was saying to them that he told me that, Devin, you know what you're supposed to do, because I've always felt like I was supposed to do ministry, but I've always been like, nah, I'm cool on all that, I don't want to do it. He said, you knew what you were supposed to do, Devin. You've been knowing what you're supposed to do. And he looks at his watch and he said, the time is now. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was like, man, all right, God, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm going to be obedient to you. And it wasn't like a day later or something like that. Somebody wanted me to preach for the teenagers. Mind you, this is way out of my comfort zone. This is not something I'm comfortable doing. But I did it anyways. And teenagers can be some of the most brutal people out there, really. But I did it anyways. And I was preaching, talking about God's grace. His grace is sufficient. Every day is a new day. You're never too deep in sin where you cannot start over. No matter how much the devil tries to put our fire out, we always have a little bit left, and all we need is a spark. Every day is a new day. That's what the message was about. And I was like, man, God, I blew it. I talked too fast. I was stuttering. And I was like, God, I'm sorry. I did the best I could. I was nervous. And I was like, man, I really blew it this time. But that's the thing about it. Just the mundane, normal, ordinary little things that we do for God, He can really use it. And there was a girl that came to me after the message was over, and she said she was crying, and she told me that she was addicted to heroin, and if she had not heard that message today, that she would have went home and shot up. And that just blessed me so much, because I have seen it firsthand. I grew up around people who were on drugs, and I know the power that it has over these people's lives. And she gave her life to God, and that was just awesome. And I know the power that heroin has over people and the power that drugs has over people. But let me tell you something. It is nothing compared to the power of God, the power of prayer. It is nothing compared to the power of His grace. His grace is sufficient for you. You're feeling like, God, I'm feeling tired. He says, my grace is sufficient for you. God, I don't feel like doing this today. My grace is sufficient for you. God, remove this giant from my life. No, son, listen here. My grace is sufficient for you. His grace is enough. What is grace? Grace is something that we can never, ever earn. We can't earn it. We can clean a little tile like this big. We can sit here and clean it and clean it and clean it and clean it for 3 days straight. No sleep, nothing. Just clean it and clean it. And we can hand it to God and say, here you go, God. This is worthy. And He's going to look at it like it's a filthy rag. Because that's the thing about grace. We can never earn it. But that's why it's so powerful, because we don't deserve it. But He gives it to us because He loves us. His grace is enough. I hope y'all have a blessed day. Listen, if this video touched you in any way, please share it. You never know who might need to hear it. So please share it. Y'all have a blessed day. And remember, if God is telling you to do something, no matter how small it is, whether it's say, just stand up and say God is good, or just stand up and raise your hands and give Him the glory. Just something so small, you never know how God can use you. He is always working. Whether it seems like He's working or not, He is always working. So be obedient. Snap in it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Y'all have a blessed day.